Let's get ready to rumble!
Yes, guys, welcome back. I told you about this Don Lemon guy. I said, bro, this guy, this lemon head, this sour lemon, this guy is one of the worst fake journalists. And I'm not gonna call him a journalist. Maybe he was, but even at CNN, nobody really respected him. And now he's on YouTube doing his little live streams. Don Lemons is not a serious person. He is not. Okay? He is not. And what he did yesterday was beyond ridiculous. And now he wants to act like he's the one that's innocent. Oh, hell no. We're not letting this man slide by. If you know what happened, there was an anti-protest, went into a church right on Sunday morning, right in the middle of a service, doing their remember Renee Good and doing all this. And apparently the reason why they busted into this church is because they thought, apparently, they had it on good information that one of the on-staff deacons or whatever elders was working for ICE. I'm going to talk about that in another episode about whether Christians should work in ICE or whatever. But they went in there, and I know some of y'all watched the video, and this is what we're going to do. First of all, I'm here to get on Don. I'm here to get on Don Lemon. This sourhead needs to get caught. Let's start off from the beginning. First of all, he mentions that he touched down. He does the little thing and puts it on X or whatever. He's touched down in Minnesota. He's here on purpose. He's been told to be here. He's here. This man is not innocent. So here we go. Let's start off where he's going.
Oh, gosh. So, guys, thank you, man. The engagement is incredible this morning. So we're doing this clandestine secret operation. And, you know, they have found out some information that they want to careful. It's very slippery. Very slippery. They found this operation. They found out some inside information, right? Yeah. And so they're going to,
some inside information that he's been told. He's previewed to where he's going. Secret mission. If you're doing a mission, that means you know your destination, bro. You're gonna see later on. He's gonna act like, oh, I'm just doing journalism. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's about to get into. He knows that this group of people is about to go into the middle of a church service because Don is not stupid. Don knows it's Sunday morning and there's people at church. And so he knows what's about to go down. This guy is a complete buffoon. Buffoon, bro. I told you this guy's a buffoon. So he's on a secret mission. The information, apparently that the guy works, the guy in this church works for ICE, and we're going to go and see how they feel about it. So let's go ahead and skip to the point where they go to the church. All right. He's going to get in there. He's going to go to the church. All right. He's arriving at the church. And here we go.
And they are protesting, surrounded the church on the inside.
So they're already in the church. You hear it. They're already in the church.
They have found out that one of the pastors at here in the city, in the area.
Hands up, don't shoot. We're back to that George Floyd crap. In church, bro. In church. You got people leaving because this is ridiculous. In the middle of a service, you pull up this bullshit stunt. That's bro, these people are freaking stupid. And then people on the left act like, oh, they don't want to talk to us. We don't want to talk to you, bro, because you're an uncivilized individuals. You're a bunch of idiots. You're stupid, bro. All right, so they're going inside the church. Here goes Don, live streaming it, right? And he's buffering all over the place. That's him. Yeah, exactly. Right. Hey, that's God telling you, bro. This is in the middle of a service. Look at these idiots. And then they act like, why? And then the other people are the uncivilized. Bro, this is uncivilized. These are the people. But hold on, because Don Lemons apparently is a Christian. We'll see in a few. Ice out in the middle of a service. And they couldn't even find it. By the way, they don't even find the guy. Apparently he wasn't even there. But I want to get to where, and here we go. We got some more
That's
there.
the whole point of it, is to disrupt.
Don Lemons with journalism. Here we go. Listen, this is his defense of this.
Time you can protest. Look, there's nothing in the Constitution that tells you what time you can protest. You can protest at any time. That's the whole point of it.
You are an absolute idiot. You are an absolute idiot. There's no time to protest. There's no time to. The Constitution doesn't tell you when not to, when to. Bro, there's an actual fact that he apparently seems to go missing, right? But let's carry on. Let's listen to him. Listen.
It's to disrupt. It's to make uncomfortable. And that's what they're doing. And that's what I believe when I say everyone has to be willing to sacrifice something. You have to make people uncomfortable in these times. If you see how uncomfortably and how harsh people are being treated on the streets, you have to be willing to go into places and disrupt and make people uncomfortable. That is what this country is about.
So,
is over.
According to this lemon head, right? It's the point of the protest is to make people uncomfortable, right? To make people uncomfortable. Okay, Lemonhead, I got something for you, bro. I got something for you. I'm gonna share something else because this Lemonhead, right? He doesn't know his facts, and he's a journalist, by the way. A journalist. You ready? Watch this. The FACT Act. The freedom of access to clinical entrances and blah, 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 right? Here's what we're saying, right? When they're talking about protesting, right? It prohibits intentionally injuring, intimidating, or interfering with, or attempting to injure, intimidate, or interfere any person by threat of force, or physical obstruction because that person is or has been in order to intimidate such person or any other person in any. Oh, here. Number 2, intentionally injuring, intimidating, or interfering with or attempting to injure, intimidate by force, extraction of right, or seeking to exercise the First Amendment right of freedom of religion at a place of worship. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. And by the way, if you look at the third one right here, reproductive services, a person actually went and got arrested, right? They got arrested. This is the FACTS Act. Got arrested because they were obstructing or getting in the way of an abortion clinic. A Christian lady, because he was praying for it and stuff like that. Lamont doesn't seem to know because Lamont comes back later on, right? Lamont comes back later on and then says, this is journalism. This is actual journalism. You idiot. You cannot go into a place of worship and then completely start obstructing, start doing this, start freaking interrupting a service for no freaking reason. Not only that, on a hunch that you think, oh, one of the person has good intel that they have there's an ice person and you never found the person. You can go in and interrupt a service to do your little protesting. But it's the point of protesting is to make it uncomfortable. The Constitution doesn't tell you what time it says. Bro, the FACT Act tells you that you cannot do it, especially when they're in a place of worship, when somebody is expressing their religious freedom. You freaking idiot. Idiot. Yo, this guy, bro. This guy is something else. But let's go ahead because he actually gets back in there and he actually ends up interviewing people, the pastor, stuff like that. But here's more of him.
Get over in the middle,
And that's, by the way, that's his sorry ass Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? That's him. That's his bullshit. Struggling. Look at him. That's God telling you something, right? That's God telling you, right?
Are you the king of why?
Yes.
What did you tell
I told that David Easterwood is a pastor here.
Yep, there it is.
He also serves as the director of the field office for.
And this is what Don Lemon, because Don Lemon later on talks about, he interviews the pastor and says, I'm a Christian too. There's no conflict of interest, particularly when it comes to a Christian serving in law enforcement. We can get into all of that. But they came and disrupted the service because they said, there's a staff member here that works for ICE. If these people, and there's the thing about it, when you take these idiots that claim to be Christians and they don't know nothing about Christianity, have never studied the religion, never understand the complexities of Christianity when it comes to relating other things, the vocational aspect of being a Christian and serving in law enforcement. These idiots have no time for studying of that. But apparently to Don Lemon, this is actual journalism. What he's doing, live streaming, a disrupting service is live streaming. This is journalism at its finest, right? So Don Lemon goes ahead and interviews a certain amount of people. The old man, I think, cooks him a couple times here and there. I'm trying to get to the point where he actually goes and interviews. Oh, here it is. This is the pastor of the church, guys. So he goes in
how would you purify water?
And gets the pastor to, sorry about that. That's a straight up ad right there, guys. Interviews the pastor. Here we go. Let's go back. I want to see if I can find it where he starts to talk to him. Yeah, here you go. He finds the pastor. Yo, I swear God was telling him. God was telling him. Trash.
Which we do every Sunday, and we were interrupted by this group of protesters.
Yeah.
We asked them to leave, and they
Obviously have not left. So.
And this would this be considered trespassing as well, because this is private property? Lamont, private property, trespassing. He said the pastor clearly told you, they asked you to leave, and you didn't.
What do you think of this? I mean, this is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship. So,
But there were folks who will.
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live in there's a constitution in the First Amendment to freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus, because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world, is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though.
We're here to worship Jesus.
Please don't push me, bro. You are the one encroaching on him, bro. You're the one getting closer to you, bro. I would have Heisman your ass, bro, out of the way. Oh, listen, and the freedom of religion goes out the window for Don Lemon, but we have the right to protest. We have the right to protest, bro. We just showed you the fact that you cannot just interrupt the service, you idiot. You cannot just do that. This guy is a journalist and is acting and only listen, all he's banking on is the Constitution. Now Lemon wants the Constitution. Now Lemon apparently is a constitutionalist. Apparently now Lemon cares about the Constitution. Now he does. Just like when just like all the other CNN individuals and all these liberals and all these leftists. Now the Constitution only matters when they can protest whatever the hell they want. Idiot. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's why we're here. Okay, that's why we're here. That's what we're about.
Do you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Jesus would be understanding. There's a point. Hey, that's why I tell you, these guys don't read their Bible. They only read the Sermon on the Mount and the little parables and the love your neighbor as yourself. These idiots don't read the Bible. They don't read it. They do the fortune cookie Christianity. They open it and, oh, this is a good verse. But they don't read the entirety of it. They don't read it. And here's the thing. With this cookie cutter Christianity, you don't think Jesus would be understanding? Jesus went into the damn temple, saw that there were people vending and selling, and flipped tables over and said, is this not my Father's house? You come and you made the house of my Father into a den of thieves and robbers. Oh yeah, Jesus was very understanding. No, I don't want to hear that. That's not the Jesus that's not the Jesus I want to talk about. That's no. Jesus loves people. He didn't do that. You see that? Cookie cutter Christianity. And Don Lemon does not know nothing about Jesus. He only knows the hippie version of Jesus, the hippie version that he likes. There's a clip I got of him on another when he was talking about Christmas. When he exactly told me what I needed to know about this man and his Christianity.
Spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a
No
Christian?
one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked if you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to
Unless you're here to
chronicle what
worship.
happened?
Unless you're here to
You hear that? You hear that, right? Can you? I want you to leave. You're trespassing, Don. Oh, you don't want us to? No, because you're not here to be a serious journalist. You are here to get your clicks and your views and to be a straight idiot, a sour lemonade head. That's all you are, bro. You're a lemon head. Trash. You're not here to talk to nobody, Lemon, because we get you later on bringing coffee later on to the agitators. You're not here for Lamont doesn't want to talk to nobody. He can't. He doesn't want to have a real conversation because this man will get cooked and squeezed. He's not ready to talk to this pastor about the theological, the understanding, the historical Jesus, what Jesus actually said. He don't want that because as soon as this man tells you, well, the Bible says, well, that's one version of the Christianity. That's all. That's how they'll spin it. Well, that's one version of the Jesus. That's one version of the Christians. Other Christians don't think that way. They don't want that smoke. They don't want that actual conversation. Lamont is just in there to prove a point, to show, that the real agitators are Christians because he got a beef. Remember in the other video what I showed you where he talked about, he said, the Christians are the problem. This is what he wanted. He wanted to come in here. He wanted to come in here and hope to God that one of these Christians would have just punched, pushed them, and then he would have gotten his life talking about, guys, this is what I told you. These Christians, they actually don't believe in what they're saying. But the pastor's asking you nicely to get out. And but you don't want us to.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here. We're here.
Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he said? I'm a Christian. Guys, this guy is a fraud. He's a fraud journalist and he's a fraud Christian. This guy is not a serious nothing. This is not a serious person. He's a clown. He's always worshiping. He's not always worshiping. He's worshiping other stuff. If you know what I'm talking about. Lamont is not a real Christian. Lamont is not a real journalist. This man is a bozo. A bozo.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So that's one of the pastors of the church. And it's kind of loud, so I can't hear him.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're dealing with. That is exactly what we're dealing with. Right? And if you think that this guy is something else, he really is. Because let me show you another thing, right? Because you would think that this dude was going to be like, this was wrong. I shouldn't have been in that spot. No. This guy holds bench, bro. This man then goes on and basically starts blaming other people about his stupid stuff, bro. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. Here he is. We're going to talk about it. Ready? Look how this guy doubles down. All right, here we go.
Over something that's not even true. So let me just make it clear, because this assistant attorney general, I don't know, gosh, what's her name? Something Hammett, Dillon or whatever. So I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests.
I didn't know that we were going, that I didn't know what was happening. But he, in his other thing, said that he was on a secret mission. This man is lying. I told you this man's a fraudulent person. He didn't know that he was going. And he's blaming the lawyer, by the way. He's blaming the lawyer for doing this.
Once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization. That's it. It's called journalism. First Amendment, all that.
This guy, and by the way, this is defense. It's an act of journalism. It's an act of journalism. All right. It's just us dealing with it. All right. And the problem is that he's doing that. All right. He's doing that the whole time. This is how he defends himself. This is how he starts to defend himself. It's just journalism. It's not journalism. This guy's a fraud. He's not really looking to get the facts. When he gets provided facts, he's not ready for it. It's only his version of facts that he wants. Oh, I'm just here to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that. Don Lemon is a actual fraud, a fraud journalist, and a fraud Christian, worthy of nothing. This guy's just doing it for the likes. All right. So, guys, listen. Let me know what you think about this, because I know Don. And by the way, it looks like he might get arrested. All right. So one thing is that you need to understand what Don is about. He's a fraud Christian. He's a fraud journalist. Nothing. But let me know, guys. Subscribe to this button. Hit the like button. And yeah, you know what? A lemon is a lemon, but this one is one of the worst ones ever, guys. Thank you for watching.